It started with a knock. Not loud. Not frantic. Just wrong. A tap 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 at the door, like someone asking a question they already knew the answer to. Alex sat frozen on the edge of his couch, staring at the door as though it might open itself. The air inside the apartment had shifted. Too still. Too heavy. And then, from the other side, a voice. Fragile. Male. Dut. You bought it, didn't you? It wasn't a question. It was an accusation dressed as regret. Alex stood slowly, like waking from a dream he didn't remember falling into. On the coffee table, nestled among unopened mail and a half-eaten sandwich, was the watch. Sleek dial. Black. Dot. Ticking. Doll. And beneath the glass screen, a number. 0213. Alex whispered, "What is this?" But the voice outside had already vanished. The countdown continued. Anonymity. The room didn't feel like his anymore. Nothing did. Alex didn't remember ordering. Didn't remember paying. The email receipt was real, sure. Time-stamped. Tracked. Delivered. But the act of wanting it? Nothing. His inbox had one line in the subject. It chooses. Under the bright kitchen light, he turned the watch over. No brand. No battery slot. No seams. Just a band of matte black and that inescapable red lead ticking on like it knew something he didn't. He scrolled through online forums, typed in every detail. No hits. Not one. Except a cached post on a conspiracy thread. Buried, archived, barely legible. "They're not counting your death," it said. "They're measuring your consequence." He stared at the line until the words stopped making sense. Then the countdown jumped forward, 10 minutes gone in a blink. He hadn't touched it. The next knock didn't come from the door. It came from the inside. Not a sound exactly, more like a tremor. Alex felt it in the floorboards in his spine. The watch flashed once. Just once. Bright enough to wash out the room. When he looked again, the screen had changed. A new number. A name. No. Meganar 0612. He said the name out loud. His voice cracked like dry paper. Megan. Well. His sister. She lived 3 cities away. They hadn't spoken in years. No bad blood, just absence, the kind that grows too long to cross. He dialed her number. Rings. Wang. Voicemail. Mail. Again. Again. The watch blinked. 0559. Alex said, "Pick up, please pick up." A dead tone answered, and the light in the room dimmed like something was being taken. He threw on a coat without knowing where he'd go. The night outside was cold and damp, streets slick with rain and glossed under orange street lamps. He walked fast, nowhere in mind, just needing motion. Anything to outrun what was counting down in his pocket. Megan. Wow. The name clung to the air around him like breath in winter. Every time he checked the watch, the numbers fell, indifferent and exact. 0438. A bus passed, headlights briefly illuminating his hollow face. Alex muttered, "It's not real. It's not real." But nothing in the city looked fake anymore. Everything looked sharpened, outlined, like he was inside a film that didn't want to end. And in that moment he felt something looking back. He found himself outside a closed shop. He didn't remember walking there. Glass windows reflected his face split between light and shadow. Inside, rows of old clocks ticked quietly behind the glass. One clock, a tall grandfather, struck the hour. Midnight. The watch beeped softly in his pocket. He took it out. 021. A small, shaking breath escaped him. Then the reflection changed. Behind him in the glass stood a woman, not moving, not blinking. Megan. Or someone wearing her shape. He spun around, empty sidewalk. No one. His breath steamed in the cold air. Alone. But the watch didn't care. The timer blinked. And for the first time, Alex whispered to no one, "Take me instead." Alex didn't sleep. Not really. He drifted, jolted, gasped his way through the hours until morning. The watch stayed active, numbers shifting, names appearing, disappearing. None he recognized. Julian T. 0312, Erica M. 0948. It kept going. Unstoppable. Mechanical. At sunrise, he sat at the kitchen table, a map spread before him. Pins. Dite. Threads. A list scribbled in red ink. He was trying to find the pattern. Trying to believe there had to be one. If he could predict it, he could stop it. But the randomness mocked him. No geography. No age. No logic. Just names and time. Each countdown felt like a heartbeat outside his control. And every death, even unseen, pressed something heavier into his chest. "Why me?" he asked the silence. The watch offered no answer. Only another name. Mila H. 0627. He tried calling the number that texted him the receipt. Disconnected. He called the company listed. Didn't exist. He searched public records, dug through domain lookups, even posted on a deep web forum. Anyone heard of a watch that predicts deaths? The responses came slow, then faster. Most were jokes. Some weren't. A user named 8seal replied, "Don't trust the skips. The skips mean you've been noticed." Alex typed back, "Noticed by who?" No reply. Then the thread was deleted. Refresh. Gone. As if it had never existed. Alex stared at the void on the screen. He felt the timer even when he didn't look. In his pulse. In his jaw. He opened a drawer, pulled out a hammer, walked to the watch, lifted his arm, and hesitated. The display blinked. Cameron P. 0040. A child's name. The hammer slipped from his hand. He ran. Out of the apartment. Down the stairs. Into the morning street like the world might forgive him if he just moved fast enough. He searched the name, Cameron P. On his phone, any recent obituaries, any accidents. Nothing. No more. But the clock kept falling. 0032. Then 0019. A park. Alex turned the corner and saw the playground. Empty, except for a boy in a red hoodie sitting on a swing. Alex stopped breathing. The boy looked up. Their eyes met. Alex stepped forward, lips parting. He didn't know what to say. What could you say? You're going to die. Run? But the moment shattered itself. An SUV jumped the curb behind the park fence. Metal shrieked. The swing twisted empty. The boy was gone. Just gone. And the watch reset. Alex walked home like a man underwater. Every face on the street became a possibility. Every stranger's name might flash across the watch next. He thought of Megan. Was she dead? Alive? Had he stopped it? Or was she just moved down the line? That night, back in the apartment, he sat in silence. Didn't eat. Didn't move. Just listened to the watch beep softly, every few minutes, each new name landing like a whispered threat. Then, finally, one he recognized. Anthony V. 022. His old friend. College roommate. The one who knew him best. The one who covered for him that night. The one who made it go away. "No," Alex whispered, scrambling for his phone. He dialed. Straight to voicemail. The countdown ticked mercilessly. 0151. And he remembered what they buried. Together. He reached Anthony's house in under 15 minutes. He didn't remember the drive. He just appeared there, sweating, heart clawing its way out of his chest. The house was dark. Front yard wild. Door locked. He knocked. No answer. Pounded. Still nothing. The countdown read 0031. He found a flower pot, grabbed the spare key. Anthony always kept one there, same as college. Inside, silence, dust, shadows, a flickering hallway bulb. Alex moved fast, calling his name. No reply. Then, a thump upstairs. He sprinted up. Bathroom door ajar. Anthony slumped inside the tub, eyes half-lidded, blood pooling around a bottle of pills. Not gone. Not yet. Alex dropped beside him, slapped his face, screamed his name. Wake up, don't you dare. The watch blinked. 000. Then went black. Anthony survived. Barely. The EMTs said another minute, maybe 2, and it would have been over. Alex didn't stay at the hospital. Couldn't. He sat outside in his car, headlights off, watching the ambulance leave like it was taking something from him. He stared down at the watch, expecting another name. Nothing. Blank screen. Then it lit up. You chose. No time. No name. Just those 2 words, pulsing slow, like a heartbeat. Alex whispered, "What do you want from me?" But deep down he already knew. It was never about fate. It was about responsibility. The watch didn't count deaths. It counted his decisions. And now, it was waiting. Not predicting. Demanding. A new name appeared. Elliot K. 0945. Alex froze. That was the man who hit Megan with his car 5 years ago. The one who walked free. Alex found Elliot's address online in seconds. A small suburban home. New paint, trimmed lawn, peace. It wasn't right. Megan had been in the hospital for 6 weeks. Broken ribs, fractured skull, memory loss. And Elliot had walked. Insufficient evidence, they'd said. Alex hadn't visited her since. The guilt was too loud. But now, with the name on the watch, it was as if the world was asking him to finish something he'd left undone. He parked across the street from Elliot's house, engine off, silence thick. The countdown, 0813. He could walk away. He could throw the watch in the sewer and forget it all. But he didn't. He watched the windows instead. Waited for the lights to go off. For Elliot to be alone. The watch didn't ask questions. It gave opportunities. The door was unlocked. Alex didn't understand why. Maybe Elliot didn't lock it anymore. Maybe he never felt the need to. The house smelled clean, lived in. Photos on the wall. Family. Laughter frozen in frames. The timer ticked. 0427. Alex moved silently through the hall, past the kitchen, into the living room. There on the couch, Elliot slept. Peaceful. Mouth slightly open. Hangman Danol, Kantari, not Freddy Kirschlays. TV glowing blue against the dark. The watch beeped once, loud in the silence. Elliot stirred, but didn't wake. Alex stood still, heartbeat echoing in his ears. The hammer from earlier was in his coat pocket. His hand moved toward it, and then paused. "What does this prove?" he whispered. The watch changed again. Still time. Alex turned away, walked back through the house, past the quiet reminders of a life that kept going while Megan's had stopped. But when he reached the door, something pulled at him. Not guilt, not justice, something colder. He looked down at the watch. It now read, "You fail again." No time, no new name, just judgment. The door creaked as he stepped outside. He breathed in the night, cold and unkind. Then, a scream. He spun around. Back inside, Elliot stood in the hallway, clutching his shoulder, blood running down his sleeve. A shadow fled the scene. Not Alex. Someone else. Another intruder. Alex didn't move. Just stared as Elliot collapsed onto the floor, gasping. The watch blinked to life. 000. Police lights painted the street red and blue. Neighbors stood on their lawns in robes and slippers, whispering. Alex remained in the shadows, watching it all from across the street. Elliot had survived. Again. They said it was a robbery. Wrong place, wrong time. But Alex knew better. The watch didn't just predict deaths. It orchestrated events, tested limits, forced decisions. And someone else out there had been watching too. Acting. Maybe another watch. Maybe something worse. The screen lit again. Test complete. Then it flashed white, reset, and showed something new. Next, Olivia M. 01159. Alex dropped to his knees. Olivia was his daughter. The one he hadn't seen in years. The one who never knew why he disappeared. Until now. Alex hadn't spoken Olivia's name aloud in 5 years. He whispered it now like it hurt his throat. The girl who used to dance in the hallway. The girl who used to cry when he missed bedtime. He left to protect her. At least, that's the lie he told himself. In truth, he ran because he was afraid of what he could become. And now, somehow, the watch had found her. It had reached into his past and pulled out what still bled. He drove all night. Didn't stop once. Olivia lived with her mother now, in a sleepy town 2 hours north. Her mother wouldn't recognize him. Wouldn't want to. He pulled up across the street as the sun cracked the sky open. School bus at the corner. Olivia on the porch. Backpack. Braids. Alive. For now. The timer read 0:10:44. He didn't get out of the car. He couldn't. Just watched her step onto the bus, wave to her mother, disappear behind the glass. The bus pulled away. So did he. He followed at a distance, palms sweating on the wheel. The timer dropped. 08:19. Alex scanned the street ahead. Cars idle. Pedestrians. Nothing suspicious. No drunk drivers. No speeding vans. Just another day. Until a black sedan pulled out 2 blocks ahead, moving erratically. The watch beeped. Alex's breath caught. The sedan turned down the same road as the bus. The countdown blinked. 0:71. He hit the gas, eyes flicking between road and timer. The watch wasn't telling the future. It was setting a stage. If he didn't act, she would die. If he acted, someone else would. Alex swerved across a sidewalk to get ahead. Tires screamed. The sedan moved faster, reckless now, aiming for the intersection where the bus would stop. He cut the wheel hard and blocked the lane. Slammed the brakes. The sedan crashed into his car head-on. Airbags exploded. Glass sprayed. The world slowed. Silence filled with pain. A second later, the bus passed safely behind him. Olivia sat inside, eyes wide, pressing her face to the window. She saw him. Knew him. But before he could move, someone stepped out of the wrecked sedan. A man in his 20s, face expressionless. No weapon. No fear. He just looked at Alex and said, "You're not the only one with a watch." Then he ran. Vanished. The timer hit 00. And reset. Police came. MDs. Crowds cracking. But Alex didn't answer their questions. He sat dazed on the curb, watch in his hand, its screen now reading. She was never missing. The words cut deeper than anything. He thought of Megan. The car. The accident. The way she looked afterward. Detached. Unreachable. But it wasn't an accident. He knew that now. Megan had been targeted. She had a watch once. Long before him. Long before this. She gave it to him when she could no longer bear it. When she knew it wouldn't let her die without taking others first. He thought he'd thrown it away. But it came back. They always come back. And now someone else had one too. Maybe more. The deaths weren't punishment. They were selections. "We're not cursed," Alex whispered. "We're being chosen." That night, Alex returned to Megan's apartment. He still had the spare key. The place hadn't changed. Dust-covered shelves, a fridge still humming. But in the back closet, under an old shoebox, he found it. A journal. Hers. Pages filled with names. Dates. Crossed out timers. Drawings of watches, theories, timelines. One page circled in red. The watch doesn't predict death. It decides who must bear it. In the margin, a question. If you let it count down, who dies? If you stop it, who suffers instead? On the final page, her last words. I didn't lose her. I gave her away. Alex stared at the line until the words sank into him like iron. Megan didn't survive the watch. She survived the guilt. And she passed it to him. Will he do the same? Alex sat in Megan's living room, journal beside him, watch still ticking. The message on the screen changed again. Choose one. Two names appeared. Olivia M. 01422. Megan R. 01422. Same countdown. Dash. No mistake. No delay. He stared at the names as if his disbelief could undo the math. One child. One sister. The cost of one life was the weight of the other. Megan had warned him. The watch didn't just show time, it demanded choice. This wasn't about saving lives anymore. It was about who deserved to be saved. He yelled, loud and hoarse, "This isn't mine to decide." But the watch didn't care. The timer ticked. 0:13:47. Alex collapsed back against the wall, gasping, shaking. "You bastards," he whispered. "You left this to me." He drove back to the city without blinking. Traffic blurred. Red lights were suggestions. His mind screamed in loops. Megan or Olivia? Past or future? Guilt or hope? The watch offered no answers, only digits marching downward like a firing squad. He arrived outside Megan's building and saw her at the window. Still alive. Still waiting for something he never gave her. He didn't knock. Just watched. Remembered the night she'd handed him the watch, trembling. "I can't carry it anymore," she'd said. He thought she meant grief. But now he understood. She meant burden. Fate. Blood. Blood. And he'd accepted it without knowing. The timer dropped below. 0:10:02. His phone buzzed. A text from Olivia's mother. She says she had a nightmare. Says you were in it. Alex felt his stomach drop. He turned. Left the building behind. He couldn't do it. Couldn't choose. Not like this. Not again. The watch beeped, sharp, angry, insistent. He pulled it off his wrist and hurled it into the street. It clattered, bounced, cracked, but didn't stop. It kept glowing from the pavement. 0:7:39. "You think you own me?" he screamed into the city. "Then take me." He stepped into the road, toward the watch, traffic whirring around him. One car honked. Swerved. Another screeched to a stop. None hit him. He picked up the watch. It flickered. Reset. A new name appeared. Alex M. 0722. He froze. The silence inside him cracked. It had never chosen him before. Now it had. It had heard him. He drove to the bridge. The one he and Megan used to cross as kids. Steel, cold, quiet at night. No traffic. Just wind and consequence. He stood at the edge, watch in one hand, journal in the other. Megan's words echoed. I gave her away. She'd meant herself. She'd meant Olivia. The only way to end it was to take it back. To stop the choosing. Alex looked at the countdown. 03:41. Not long. Not long at all. He looked down at the water, the city lights fractured beneath. It wouldn't be heroic. It wouldn't save everyone. But it would mean something. A choice made without passing the weight to another. No more names. No more trade. Let it end with me, he whispered. The wind howled louder now. Alex stepped closer to the edge. He could feel the timer inside him. Heart, lungs, breath, all sensing to the ticking. 0, 049. He clutched the watch, lifted it to his mouth like a confession. "Let them go," he said. "Let them live." And then, the screen changed. It didn't count down. It didn't blink. It spoke. "You cannot sacrifice what you do not own." His knees buckled. The watch never wanted his life, it wanted his decision. The burden was the choosing, not the dying. And now, it had taken the last piece of him, his illusion of control. On the screen, 2 names returned. Megan.wa. Olivia.I. 029. He screamed into the wind, raw and breaking. This was never about saving. It was about surviving the choice. The timer hit 0. But nothing happened. No crash. No body. No scream. Just silence. Then the screen blinked off. Blank. .eu. For the first time since he put it on, the watch was dark. Alex sat motionless at the edge of the bridge, soaked in cold wind and sweat, waiting for something to fall from the sky. But it never did. Instead, his phone buzzed. A text from Megan. "I don't know why, but I feel like I just woke up. I dreamed of the watch. It was screaming." Then, another. From Olivia's mother Dorothy. "She's calm now. Said you made it stop." He stared at the blank watch, hands shaking. Had he broken it? Had he beaten it? Or had he simply passed the test? Not of violence, but of refusal. It didn't want a victim. It wanted a verdict. And he'd refused to give it one. Back in the apartment, everything looked smaller, quieter, as if the space had exhaled something heavy. Alex placed the watch on the kitchen table. No glow. No hum. It sat there like an ordinary object. Plastic, metal, silence. He sat across from it, eyes bloodshot, staring as though it might twitch. In front of him, Megan's journal lay open, pages fluttering in the breeze from a cracked window. Her drawings, unscriptic, now read like scripture. The final entry echoed in his skull. "Surviving doesn't mean you were spared. It means you still owe." He reached for a pen. Beneath her writing, he added his own line. "It chose me. I chose no one." And for the first time the watch flickered again. Just once. Then died. He visited Megan that afternoon. She opened the door slowly, like she wasn't sure it was real. They stood there in silence for a full minute. No words, no apology, just the wreckage between them. Then she stepped aside and let him in. "Over tea?" she asked. "Did it choose again?" He nodded. "It picked you, and Olivia." She didn't flinch, just stared into her cup like it held old memories. "I knew it would come back," she said. "I just didn't think it would ask you." Alex said. I didn't answer. Megan looked up, eyes tired but clear. "That's why you're still here." Outside, kids played. A plane passed overhead. Time moved forward. But inside the apartment, something sacred, something silent, had finally broken open. Later that night, Alex returned to his apartment and opened the drawer where he'd first found the watch. Nothing. Just dust. He took Megan's journal and slid it inside, closed the drawer, locked it. He didn't destroy the watch. He didn't bury it. He simply stopped carrying it. He placed it in the closet, wrapped in cloth, and left it there, not hidden, not forgotten, but stored like something that belonged to another life. Before bed, he stood at the mirror, touched the scar on his jaw. He looked older. He felt older. But for the first time in weeks, he didn't check the time before he slept. There was no ticking, no red light, just breath, just stillness. And in that silence, he didn't hear death. He heard absence. And it was almost enough. The next morning, the mail arrived. Ordinary envelopes. Junk ads. A package. Small. Unmarked. No sender. He stared at it on the counter. Didn't touch it. Didn't move. He knew that shape. That weight. But he didn't open it. Just walked outside, let the sun hit his face. On the sidewalk, a boy kicked a ball. A couple laughed. Life hummed. Time ticked. Somewhere, the cycle had begun again. Maybe in another city. Another home. Another wrist. But not here. Not today. Alex closed his eyes. Breathed deep. The final price wasn't death. It was knowing that he had survived. That the burden didn't end. It passed. He turned, walked back inside, and left the package unopened on the counter. But the camera stayed on it just long enough to hear the faintest click from inside. The package stayed unopened. Days passed. Then weeks. Alex didn't touch it. He lived around it. Ate breakfast beside it. Answered emails beside it. Slept knowing it was there. A part of him hoped it was empty. Another part feared it wasn't. But he didn't look. Instead, he tried to build a life. He called Megan once a week. Visited Olivia from a distance. Never too close. Never again the cause of any countdown. And still, the silence remained. No beeping. No names. No choices. But the weight hadn't gone. It simply shifted. He carried it differently now, not as a curse but as memory. That was the trick, wasn't it? The watch wasn't a weapon. It was a mirror. And he had seen something in it he could never unsee. One evening, Alex returned home to find his front door ajar. Nothing broken. Nothing missing. Just open diamond. A breeze drifted through the hallway, rustling the edge of the rug. He stepped inside slowly, heart thudding with old instincts. On the table, the package was gone. In its place, a note. Handwritten. 5 words. You're not done. Not yet. No signature. No name. But the watch had returned too, placed gently where it first appeared. Exact same position, same glow. It ticked quietly. Blank screen. Whoa. Waiting. Waiting. Alex didn't scream. Didn't panic. He sat down across from it. Slowly. Deliberately. So, this is the real cost, he whispered. I don't get to quit. The watch pulsed once in agreement. He didn't run this time. Didn't throw it away. He reached forward and placed the watch on his wrist. It was colder than he remembered. Lighter, somehow. The screen blinked once and displayed a new line. Observation mode engaged. No names. No timer. Just 2 blinking dots like eyes. For the next 2 days, nothing happened. No beeps. No threats. Just Alex, living. But aware. Hyper-aware. Everyone he saw became a possibility. Every stranger a subject. He began to wonder if that was the new game. Not choosing who dies, but watching who would, and wondering if his attention caused it, or simply recorded it. Was he the player now, or the camera? He went out again. Grocery store. Crosswalks. Library. The watch didn't tick, but his pulse did. He noticed things he hadn't before. The man who always smiled at the register blinked too slow. The child crying in the aisle suddenly stopped, dead silent. The woman on the corner who had been there yesterday was gone. The dots on the watch blinked faster when he got close to some people, slower around others. He tested it, walked by the same person twice. Blink rate increased. He tried talking to one. Nothing. Then a 3rd time, and the dots stopped blinking altogether. Just blank. The person smiled, and 5 minutes later, collapsed on the sidewalk behind him. The watch beeped once. Recorded. That was all it said. There's no countdown anymore. No names. Just a rhythm. A pattern. A pulsing that syncs with Alex's breath. The watch no longer asks. It simply observes. It simply knows. Maybe it always did. Maybe it was never about who lives or dies, but who watches and who learns to live with knowing. Alex doesn't sleep much now, but when he does, He dreams in numbers. Names without faces. Timers without clocks. A final sentence returns to him often, whispered across static in his mind. You didn't stop it, you became it. And one morning, as he washes his hands at the sink, he hears a voice behind him. Familiar. Female. Broken. Megan. It's not over, Alex, she says. He turns, slowly. But she's not there. Only the ticking. Always the ticking.